Hello everyone, welcome back to Lise Loves Paper, and I'm back with a process video. How exciting. So as I recorded this, I was exactly 1 week out from hopefully getting my brace off, and I was actually feeling like I could jump back in my craft room, and I was super excited. I kept this layout though pretty simple. This is one I'd had in my head for a while that I wanted to do. As you can see, the photos are of my son, and he is a little bit wet in his soccer uniform. He had spent the week at a soccer camp and it rained every single day. Now, they were inside for most of the week, but the last day it was kind of drizzly and they were outside. And this is what he looked like when I picked him up, a bit like a drowned rat. So, we got to scrapbook these fun things. So here I am. I had already kind of picked out these papers. I love the blue for the rain feel, and then I loved these papers here. And I really like that one that you see on top with the text, and then it has kind of like a painty bit here and there, and some of it's pink, some of it's orange, and some of it's black. Now, he was at a local high school camp, and their colors are black and orange, and so I really wanted to highlight that black and orange part and not as much use the pink part. See, I'm pointing to it right here. So I was trying to figure out where I wanted to lay them on the paper so that we could still see that part after I put the photos on there. So I was checking the back to see if it was something I wanted to save, and meh. So I cut off the top where the pink was. So now we have the black and the orange splats. Sorry for being a little bit out of frame here. But I've decided I think that's where I want to put the photos. So now I'm just going to cut about where it should be on the left side, because I'm kind of making an extra large mat that's going to sit in the middle of my paper here. And I like that. So what I decide to do now, I want to tear off the bottom for some texture, but before I do that, now that I know I want my photos like that, I'm going to tape them together. This is that very low tack tape from scrapbook.com, and I use it for everything. Usually once I get something right, I don't like to mess it up again because I can never put it back exactly like it was, and it annoys me. Now here, this rip, it annoyed me so much. You could see that it was ripping a whole lot. So you could see a whole lot of the white paper. So I ripped from the other side, but then it left me with this little dangly thing, which was driving me crazy. So struggle bus. I still couldn't quite open it with my right hand, but I got this glue, which if you glue things, this is the best glue, hands down. If you have a glue book or anything like that, like I do, love this glue. But now that's down and no one will ever know the difference. So we have that. And then I have this black and white paper, and I liked it because I like the black and white graphic pop, but I also like that it kind of reminds you of rain. So I knew that I wanted to have some of that on this page as well. And here I am trying to figure out how I want to mat it behind that first one. You'll see this little bit of paper here that I keep bringing in and out, and it's just a little offcut that I really like the look of, and I thought with the blues that it might go with this, and I keep trying it, but in the end I don't end up using it. Now I love this little offcut that I brought in. It's like a light orange with a tone-on-tone stripe, and it's perfect again for bringing in that orange, because I kind of want my main colors to be this black, white, blue, and orange with a little bit of yellow. And you'll see we change that a little bit as we go. But for now, we're focusing on these main pages. Now, all of these papers, I believe, are from the 3 most recent Hip Kit Club kits, April, May, and June. And they were just on my desk, and I was ready to dive in, and so I just grabbed what was at hand. And I really like how they all play together. You guys might be screaming at me for not using the tags on the back of that page, but I just love this side so much, and it fits so well with what's going on. So now it's time to glue down the photos so I don't have to keep messing with them. And I find things like that tape very distracting when I'm putting stuff together, and so I try and get rid of it as soon as possible. I can't look past it for some reason. So there we go. Now I want, again, to tear the bottom of this one, and it started doing the same thing, so I had to do it very carefully, as you can see. But in the end, I like how that turned out. I like the bit of texture it added at the bottom. Now, this was the opposite side of that black and white paper, I believe, and I really like the way that looks. But in the end, I decided not to use it because this was a layout about rain, and I kind of really wanted to play up the blues, and so I decided not to use that one instead. Let's try this paper again, and no, just put it away. It's not going to work, Lise. Stop trying to make fetch happen. So now here I am trying to figure out where I want this hit of orange. And I ended up really liking it right here. I like how it's staggered up at the top, and it kind of brings some movement to that side. And it also, both of those papers are white, or mostly white. And so they kind of blend into each other. And this really makes them stand out from one another a lot more. So it serves several purposes there. I really like the staggered bit. And then I also decided to stagger it at the bottom there. I cut it a little long, and I decided if I didn't like it longer, I could cut it, tear it a little bit shorter. This is another piece of offcut that I thought might work in here. Again, love the rainbow, but not for this page. Tap, tap, tap. So I have not cut off the manufacturer's strip at the bottom of this one. Again, that's another thing that just distracts me, especially when I'm trying to lay things out. So let's get rid of that. Now I'm going for the title. Astute people will notice that I have not glued down that main photo mat, which usually I'll do that before I put the title on, but I wanted to see here, that's what I'm doing, is seeing if my title is going to fit on the mat itself or if it's going to go off and if I need to glue it down beforehand. But in the end, it does not. So I'm able to put the title on just straight onto this mat before I have to tape it down. So you guys know I am a fan of huge titles, and this one's no exception. I'm also a huge fan of alliteration. And honestly, I've had this title in my head since I took those photos of my son. So I have these big navy alphas, and I love them. I might have to go back and glue them down because they're that kind of chipboardy. So we'll see if we trust them later. But for now, I'm just sticking them down because I don't have the dexterity to glue them. But my title ends up being What a Wet Week. And I really like the mix of alphas. I like that the wet week is larger. I like that the two letter sets play very nicely together with the colors and the sizing and the fact that they're both the sans serif. You know, they don't have those extra doodads on them. And here I am messing with them just a little bit because it really, really, really irks me when my letters are slightly off, especially when they're very straight-lined letters like that. So here I am. I still have not decided on where I want that main cluster to be. I'm pretty sure I want it here smack dab in the center, but I decided that I was going to try some embellishments around it just to see if the embellishments would end up pushing it one way or the other before I glued everything down. So this is an embellishment pack from one of those hip kits, and I had pulled it out specifically because it had clouds in it, and I thought they'd be perfect. So you'll see I'm a bike, another bike. Why another bike? Sorry, that's what those hands meant. So here I am going through looking for the clouds, kind of playing with placement just to see what's going to make sense and if there's anything else in this kit that fits. And I love these little hearts. There's a golden yellow one, and that heart, it says fun in the middle of it. I found this tag. I like the tag, but it competed way too much with the texty background, so I took it off. Found another cloud, and I like how this balances out over here with the two on the right and the one on the left. See, my background is still wiggling around. But as you can see, it still is working with that balance in the center. So soon enough, I will realize after I get done with this kit that, oh, there's another one of those little, that one says Joy, I believe, but it's got an orange background, which was absolutely perfect. So I had to use it. Here I am struggling with all the stuff. I like this one. It's, if you can't tell, it's an orange striped heart. So there I am showing you, yes, I do want it in the center, so I'm going to scoot everything off and then tape it down smack dab in the center. I will eyeball it. I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing things. That's my super secret power, scrapbooking superpower here, is that I'm pretty good at eyeballing where things should go. And so I just kind of, plopped it down there. I put this cloud flat, and then I decided it would be really fun to add some dimension to this one right here, so it kind of pops up above it. And it really is such a subtle thing, but I'm happy with how it turned out. I really like that effect. It also balances out that title just a little bit there. Now this is where my journaling is going to go when I can actually write again, because my right hand is my dominant hand. I still cannot write very well, and I didn't want to ruin this layout with it, so right now it's blank. But I'll add the little story about what I told you guys about the rainy whole wet week and the dates and everything like that. Trying to figure out where I want this little doodad to go. gluing down this little, it says love you. It's like in a typewriter font. And I really like how it brings that texty background into the photo above it just a little bit. Oh, and I don't like those little boogers that hang off of some things, when they got punched out at the factory. So those are those teeny little things, just like the letters being slightly off, that really bother me on my layouts. And I had to fix them or else it'll bug me. But when other people have it, it doesn't bother me a bit. I don't know what it is about mine. So here I am with this, trying to figure out that I still have not glued down that little orange heart in the top right because nothing quite feels right. And so I figured I'd just let it sit until I knew, oh, look at these. These are also from a hit kit. They have that fun, like felty texture to them. And I thought they'd add a fun new texture to this very papery layout. So you'll see me fuss around for a while trying to figure out different sizes and different colors. I tried that white cloud. It was too big. So now I'm trying a little blue cloud, but it blends in too much to the background. So here I have a smaller white cloud. I still don't like that blue one up there. Nope. Try and pull it off. So yes, another white cloud to kind of balance that first one that we put on, and I tucked it behind that popped up one as well. So like that. Now this bowl is something that I keep on my desk in front of me, and it's things that I just want to use up, that if I don't end up using them up, then they're gonna, head on their merry way, but I keep them right in front of me so that I reach for them first and I can hopefully use them up. I've had these layered embellishments for forever, but the tone just didn't feel right, and I love those. They're like wooden tags, but I didn't like the way the wood competed with the orange, so I decided not to. Now this box I keep on another part of my desk, and these are all the new things. I think I've talked about it before. As I get new things in my stash, I put them here first, so I try and use up as much as I can before I pull them out of their packages. So I'm going through, and this is that new Viboo collection. Nothing in there. Flipping. So there's that Dear Lizzie. I pulled that out because I had some tickets and tags in there, and I love layering with those. I thought for a hot minute about using these hearts, but the orange wasn't quite right. I pull out both of these I love the Rosie's Studio die cuts. I'm fairly new to buying from them. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they're an Australian company. Oh, love this. I like the color, but then I decided I didn't want to fuss with acetate trying to attach it, so I left it alone. Anyway, back to the Rosie Studio. I believe they are an Australian company, and I've had 2 orders with them, and I really like their stuff. I like their style. I love the quality. Their die cuts are amazing because you get a ton. You get 2 of each thing in there, and I really like them, and I find myself putting them on just about everything. So here are those tickets I'm pulling out. Just anything that might possibly work. And you can see there with me holding up a couple of the green things, I'm starting to realize that the green behind my son in the picture is really pretty distracting because everything else in the layout is a very tight color scheme. It's the blue, the white, the black, with touches of this like orange and yellow. But then it's like, green with the photos. And so already I'm starting to think I'm going to have to pull in green somehow somewhere else so it's not such a distraction. I don't get anywhere with it yet. So right now I'm just putting in some of these puffy phrase stickers, which I love from Rosie Studio. I like how the awesome one blends in. I love this little tool because I feel like my fat fingers get in the way and I can't really envision how it's going to look. So a lot of times I'll put things on that tool just so I can hold them in place without being too distracted. I found this everyday sticker and I thought it was cute because what a wet week, like it rained every day. So I threw that in there, and then this little always thing, so it says love you always. I decide I want it to be on the right side of love you so it acts more like a phrase and isn't in the middle of my journaling space. So I put those back. Now I pulled out those Vicky Bouton like puffy hearts and stars and stuff like that and put them off to the side. And now I'm going to go through these giant packs and watch me struggle because my dexterity is still not all there, guys. I've lost a lot of strength in my hand. And I don't know about you, but I really struggle with paper anyway. These little tiny paper pieces. My nails are cut pretty short because my husband had to cut them for me still. And I'm just having a hard time flipping through everything. I think that's one reason that my new organization system for my ephemera and stickers is going to work really well for me. Stay tuned, you'll get a little sneak peek of it later. Um, but I get so frustrated flipping through ephemera packs. I have seen people online and they put them in bowls or something and they just flick through them with their fingers effortlessly. There we go. um, but it just doesn't work that way for me, and I find myself getting frustrated, and I don't know if you can see that, but as I was going through these packs, I was getting so frustrated, and I was just, you can see I just put huge chunks to the side because I just don't feel like trying to look at every single piece. So I put that today banner up there. It's green, and I will put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, and in the end, now this one, Happy, I was hoping it is the same font, but it's not quite the same size because it would have been really fun to pop it up on top of one of those Happies for a little dimension and stuff, but it didn't quite fit. Um, anyway, back to that green banner. I wanted to bring in more green, and you can see me trying all these greens, and none of them are quite the right tone. They all clashed a bit for me, and even the oranges, like you can see that orange banner I have above Happy, and that orangey pinky Live Life Happy just don't end up making the cut because the tones are not quite right for me. But for now, they'll hang around, and I'll leave them out until I decide for sure what I want to do. See, there's another green. Maybe here. Nope. Trying. I'm just holding things up to see what sparks for me. But here you can see I'm getting frustrated. I don't even want to look through it. I just, here's a chunk, put it to the side. I do love this little heart. It's hard to see on the camera, but it's a white heart with these like gold foiled stripes on them. And I really like it. I put it there at first, and it moves it around the layout a lot. And I have a hard time picking it up and putting it places. I'm trying to figure out where to put it here, but I'll realize in a minute. It's just competing too much with that heart that's already there in the circle because the size is so similar. And so it's just not going to work over there. And you'll see, I'll figure it out and move it in a little bit. Here I go, trying that today thing somewhere else. Trying to grab some green in there. Now I'm trying to put a ticket back here. I don't like that tone of yellow, and it's not the right kind of shape. I do like this one. Now I know it's very similar to the background, but I like how it makes that ticket pop on top of the matting. And it just adds a little bit of texture back there, just a little something, something, but not too much. And it's subtle, and I like that. Taking the banner off, it's not working for me. I'm going to try this in several different places, but in the end, it's just a little too pink for the layout, so it does not make the cut. I have a hard time placing this little guy, too. I decided to pop both of these up because I have popped up that one cloud, and I don't want to pop up just the one thing. So here I go, trying it out again. Now, I really struggled placing this guy because you see the circle heart to the left, and then there's a heart below it, and I didn't want it to line up with either one of those. You need a nice visual triangle, and I didn't want it to be exactly in line with either one. So that's why it ended up where it is. Now, these that you see me playing with, these Vicky Booten things, are going to end up being the star of the show. They kind of saved me. I was really struggling with how to embellish this layout because not a lot that I had was working, and I didn't want to spend hours looking through my stash. So I realized that they're super cute. I put one over here just to kind of balance out that heart, but then as I'm playing over here on the right side, I don't know if I figured it out yet. I was like, oh, those kind of look like raindrops, but little heart raindrops. That's cute, right? So first I'm going to glue this guy down. And I think the other thing that was bothering me was that it didn't stand out enough. So here's me in my bald spot as I outlined. I did a little bit of messy outlining, and I do like that. It helps it stand out a lot more. And now here I go putting in my little heart raindrops, and I love how this turned out. I'm putting them randomly. I'm mixing in some white, the orange, and the yellow. Luckily, I had 2 packs of these, and each of the packs had 2 sheets, so I had plenty to work with. And I ended up, I think I threw in a blue one on each side as well, just for some variety. And I love how this turned out. Let me know what you think about it, but it's so fun. Here I am trying to make sure that I don't want anything to line up really, because again, I want it to look like they're actually raindrops falling down from the sky. And if things are too matchy perfect, it's not going to give me that realistic look that I'm looking for. So that's what I'm doing here, just kind of playing around with placement. And I have one overlapping that other heart there, scooting that guy over because it was too close to the others. And I did add one heart down here so that it wasn't alone. And then here's your sneak peek. So this is what I'm doing with my little binders, and I will have a video up on that soon, but this is the one where I have all my greens together. Watch me struggle to get that sticker out. But here's where I'm bringing in the green. That green color was just perfect. And so we have the green in the photos. That's number one. We have the green now with that laugh often little flag. That's number two. And here I am trying to put this guy in there. It's just not quite right. So I put it back, and you'll see I'll flip through and see if anything else strikes my fancy. I found this awesome flag, and I like the color again, and it works because it's white text like that laugh often. So I end up just cutting the top off, throwing away the bottom, and bring it over there. So now I have green in 3 places, and I feel a whole lot better about it. It's a little teeny tiny bit, but I think it helped a lot. And I tried to bring in green to that top right, but it just wasn't working. So that's it. I'll do the journaling later. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.